Why are we here? Why are we here today? I mean, we're not here because we're having a good time. We're not here because California is the best place to live. We're not here because the state acknowledges us or even listens to us or even cares what we think or what we want. We're not here because our state assemblyman cares what we think or want. And we're not here because the state senate cares what we think or want. And as we learned yesterday down at the Capitol, we're not here because the governor cares what we think or what we want. We're here because we want to find out through this effort whether the Constitution of the United States is the truth or a lie. And it has to be one or it has to be the other. The Constitution of California, the same thing. Is the Constitution of California the truth or is it a lie? And what we're asking ourselves today is, if we find that we don't have representation, what do we do about it? That's the important question, really, because we can find certain truths here, but we have to have some action. So I'm here to make a case for you for liberty. I'm here to make a case that we not only demand representation and we demand liberty, but we're entitled to it. And we should have always had it. And the reason that we don't is because the people that we elected don't know us, don't care about us, and we don't have the political power to affect events. So the first thing I want to say is, my wife is always telling me, don't spend too much time on history. but Patrick Henry said, I have not but the lamp of experience to guide my feet. I can't possibly tell the future except by what is past. And Patrick was a pretty smart guy. And Thomas Paine said in a little pamphlet, oddly enough, called Common Sense, that the first legislature in the colony should be held under the branches of a big oak tree. There would be about the number of people in this room. And everyone shows up and they discuss events and they discuss what's needed and what they like and what works and what doesn't work. They may come to some kind of agreement and everybody goes home. But then he went on to say that as the colony grows in population, representation must also grow for two reasons. First, so that every part of the colony remains represented adequately. And secondly, so that a representative can never form a separate agenda from those who elect him. And what we find is the bigger the districts get, and what Patrick knew was, or what Thomas Paine knew, was the bigger the district got, the less likely it was that the person you elected would listen to you if you had a complaint, because he has so many constituents that your voice is lost in the crowd. And so now we come to the state of California, where an assembly district has roughly 500,000 people, and a Senate district has roughly 1 million people in it. We have 40 senators, we have about 40 million people. We have 80 assemblymen, and we have about 40 million people. So it's about 500,000 for one and 1 million each for the others. Now, the question that we're asking the court in the CFR lawsuit is, what's too many? That's it. And it's a question that has to be answered. Because in the end, if you kick the can down the road a couple of centuries, and you say to yourself, well, if 1 for 1 million is adequate representation, what about 1 for 2 million, 1 for 5 million, 1 for 10 million? What happens when we get to 1 billion people in California if we project out far enough? Is 1 for 100 million, is that okay? And we say no, it isn't, because it's obvious, even at 1 for 1 million, that you don't have enough representation. Why is it obvious? Well, for many reasons. We can look at the national average, and California has the worst representative ratio in the United States, 350% worse than the next worst state, which is Texas. So we're 350%, our vote is 350% more diluted than state number 49. That's not good for us, because at 1 for 500,000 or 1 for 1 million, what happens if you have a genuine complaint? And it's real, and it actually needs to be addressed, we'll say. We'll postulate that. And you go to your state senator, and he says to you, well, I don't have face-to-face meetings with my constituents. What do you do? Well, the answer right now is nothing. We've actually had state senators tell Jefferson people that they don't have face-to-face meetings with constituents. When the time comes, if we ever can make it to court, what we want to do is FOIA their calendars, because I'll bet you they have lots of meetings with people with big checkbooks, lobbyists, corporations, Monsanto, pharmaceuticals, Chevron, CalSTRS, CalPERS, California Firefighters Union, California Teachers Association. I'll bet they have meetings all the time with those people, but they won't have a meeting with you. Now, we have, as Terry said, the Article 4 section